medium to large scale digital transformation solutions, enterprise content management, document management system, and workflow BPM solutions. So without further ado, let's listen up with what Mr. Hemant Prasad has to say about CloudMeet, a self-hosted and secure enterprise communication solutions. Mr. Hemant Prasad, please proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shiva. And good morning to everyone here today. I hope it's not an early morning, and hope everyone had their good breakfast well at home. So, as Mr. Shiva introduced, my name is Hemant Prasad, and I'm representing my company, Crash Info Solutions. And my presentation talks about a very relevant solution in today's world, CloudMeet, which is a instant messaging and video conferencing platform developed by Crest in Malaysia. So it's a local product by a local company. Just a quick background on why we decided to come up with this solution. So, as we all know, remote working is the new normal. We have already had a tough year behind us in 2020. The pandemic definitely gave us a hard time in our life, our working styles, our professional life, even the personal life had changed considerably. And everybody thought that possibly 2021 is going to be far better. We do have the vaccines here today, and hopefully that is going to give us the respite, and we will be able to live a normal life. And definitely, we will be able to live a normal life. But I guess what? The situation is not getting any better. As we all know, the 2021 could as well be the year of the remote working for all the professional. And as we have learned to digest the word, which is the new normal. So is this the new normal? I mean, there will be a before Corona and a after Corona period, as we all know. Maybe if that is going to be the acronym for the AC and the BC, as if I can put it that way. So I mean, even if it's going to be an after Corona period, what the experts are voicing their opinion that the new normal is possibly going to be a mix of what we used to work, or how we used to work in past, and how we have been working for the last year plus or so. So since we are already in 3 months plus of 2021, we do not see the light at the end of tunnel yet, as when we will be able to work out of our premises like we used to work before. So I guess it's safe to assume that 2021 is also going to be the year of remote working. And a lot of other organizations have definitely put in mechanisms in place to as well continue to work maybe in 2022 as well, continue to work remotely as well. So that's the background, is what we basically see. And the employers, the employees, everyone will have to basically get ready for adopting this new normal. Now, when we are working remotely, of course, I think technology did play a big role in our life. And I was just discussing the other day with some of my colleagues that what would have happened if there were no technology platforms or the tools that we are adopting today, including the one which is AirMeet, as we are using for the virtual virtual conference. What if these tools were not there? How could we actually connect and continue to work? Thankfully, of course, there were tools like either the WhatsApp for messaging, or a Signal, or a Telegram, etc., that we use for messaging, or we had things like Zoom or Microsoft Teams, which came up pretty quickly, adopted by people well, and we were able to sort of adopt the new normal. But again, as we relied too heavily on these platforms to keep connected with our friends, with our professional colleagues, etc. Of course, there were supposed to be some issues that were cropping up, and as we all know, there have been a lot of noise about the security and the trustworthiness of these solutions, on how secure they are. Is someone secretly recording your meetings or reading your messages that you're sending? So if technology has a positive side, a positive effect on your life, it definitely does have a flip side of it as well. so that you got to be wary, if not worried, and then you got to be prepared to deal with the untoward things that may happen in case your data is compromised. So that's where I have this challenge, throwing to the audience that while we are using this, a lot of people and a lot of organizations across the world have definitely, shown their apprehensions about using different tools. For example, there was a uncalled, or not uncalled, but I would say indirect ban, on Zoom on quite a few organizations across the world because there were security apprehensions. Same happened with Teams. Very recently, Team, sort of announced, or the analysts basically discovered that there were several security flaws into the solutions like Teams because they are shared, hosted, they are controlled and managed by the parent companies. Users like us have no idea, what exactly is happening, at the back. It's like a black box for us. We do rely, we do trust, but then of course there is a limit to how much we can trust. And specifically, if we are having some sensitive corporate conversation related to maybe a contract, to a project, using these tools, how safe is our communication while we are discussing, and if we are recording it, how safe the recording is, who might be exploiting it at the back, or there might be hackers, there might be intruders, compromising the security of your communication and data. So keeping that background in mind, Crash basically decided to embark on the journey to bridge that gap and meet that need of a secure communication platform. So this is what we thought, is that we need to pitch in, do help contribute into the technology world. So how we can help in that sort of scenario is we came up with this solution which we called CloudMeet. The CloudMeet, if I can put an introduction, pretty straightforward. It's an alternate to your publicly hosted WhatsApp or a Telegram or a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams. The difference between these public platform, the shared platforms that organizations are using, and CloudMeet, is that CloudMeet is basically an end-to-end secure and a privately hosted alternative to these public platforms. You don't have to use Zoom or Microsoft Teams for your meetings. If it's going to be a sensitive meeting that you basically carry out, you connect with your colleagues, have an online meeting, an audio and a video meetings. CloudMeet hosted in your premise, in your servers, or maybe in your private cloud, actually gives you complete control to conduct your online meetings securely. You know that your meeting is running on your servers, on your stories, the data is being stored, and nothing is going to go in the hand of a third party. Similar way, you don't have to use Signal or WhatsApp. We have seen this trend that a lot of people have moved from WhatsApp over to Signal or over to Telegram, etc., for the simple reason or a fear that when WhatsApp came up with the communication that they will be allowing Facebook to mine your data and possibly provide some target advertising, etc. So that is what I think instill a lot of fear in the minds of a lot of people worldwide. And I'm myself a user of Signal now, moving on from WhatsApp. But then the question comes to mind is how long before Signal also starts monetizing the data the way WhatsApp decided to actually monetize it. So where do the organizations go? I mean, do you keep switching from WhatsApp to Signal or maybe to Telegram next day or maybe to something else next day? Well, for an individual, they don't have a choice. But for organizations, I guess it's the time to seriously consider on having a reliable alternate to this public messaging platform and give a secure communication platform to its staff. I mean, we are all remotely working, maybe in the same city or a different city or different countries altogether. The team might be spread across. So that's what CloudMeet basically does. It provides you an alternate, a secure and a privately hosted alternate to WhatsApp, to Telegram, to Zoom, to Microsoft Teams, all bundled in a single platform. It provides you end-to-end encryption. The user experience is pretty good. The users can join from any modern browsers, Chrome, Firefox, etc. Gives you a native iOS and Android app, and key modules that basically it has, and I'll talk more about it. As I mentioned, there is an online meeting built in, as we are having the meeting via AirMeet. AirMeet is more of a event on an exhibition, a virtual exhibition platform. What CloudMeet is a meeting and messaging platform. Then, of course, there is a team chat built in. There are channels. I'll talk more about how organizations can basically leverage channels and a context directory as well. So talk about the interactive online meetings. As I mentioned, what the platform allows you to do is to either organize or attend meetings from the device of your choice. You can use your laptop, you can use an iPad, you can use an iPhone, you can use an Android phone or a Galaxy Tab, etc. You can use any of the Android or iOS or a Windows or even maybe a Safari browser on a Mac. And you can get experience to schedule instant meetings. So if you have to just start a meeting without prior scheduling it, there is just one click instant meeting start that you can actually do. Or if you want to schedule the meetings for a later date, maybe for the next week or the following week, invite the audience, well, you can do that as well. So there are options to either start an instant meeting just with a single click. Within seconds, you have your audio visual meeting up and running in your browser or in your mobile. Or you can also schedule it and invite, send invitation to the people either within the platform as well as via email. And as we are doing the screen sharing, the basic need or the requirement or a feature of such a platform, yes, you can share your screen, you can select which window you want to share. So very standard method of sharing the screen as well. While we are having meeting, the platform also allowing the private chat either with everyone or with the selected audience of the meeting. You can have a private chat, share a file, also records the meeting. So all the recording that you do actually either go to your servers or you record them locally on your laptop or on your iPad, etc. And all these recordings are securely stored into an encrypted storage of CloudMeet in your servers, in your storage, if I can repeat that. It's not going to go to any cloud or a public cloud. Nobody else has access to it other than you, because it's all stored and running on your servers and storage. Access it from browser, as I said, a variety of browsers that we support, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, etc. Or you join it using an iOS or native iOS and Android app. And all the meetings that you are happening or recording are all end-to-end encrypted. So intuitive platform, as you can see, these are the real mock-ups that I have, the screens that I have from the system. This is not just some Photoshop, but the real platform. So if you need any demonstration or want to have a trial, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to assist you with a trial. So the next one module, as I mentioned about messaging. So you're not going to have meetings every day, or maybe not for every matter that you need to schedule a meeting. We do communicate with our colleagues a lot via different chat softwares like WhatsApp or Signal or Telegram or even Facebook Messenger or a Skype, etc. So there is, if you can see the menus in the bottom of the app. So we will discuss about the meeting first, and the next tab is basically the chat. So similar to what you do in any popular messaging app, you can have a one-to-one chat with any of your colleagues, with entire history preserved, with entire audit preserved. You can also create groups, as many groups as you want, and there is no limit to how many people that you can actually add into the group. There is absolutely no limit. Some of the messaging platforms do have limits, but we do not have any limit in a corporate on how many people that you can actually add to the group. And very need-based feature, read receipt on whether the message got delivered or not got delivered. So it can as well work offline. In a case where you're traveling, or maybe you are in a lift, you do not have network connection, etc. the app will basically tell you whether the message was delivered to the recipient or whether the recipient has read and at what time it was read, so on and so forth. So the read receipts are available. You can also share file through the chat. The size of the file, the type of the file that you can share is all configurable. By default, we do not put any limit. We definitely restrict exe, the executable files, to be blocked if somebody is trying to share just for the security purpose. But you can configure on what type of files do you allow your corporate users to share through a chat and up to what size, 10 MB, 20 MB, 100 MB. You can configure that. Emojis for better experience, emotions, etc. Push notifications, very similar to the messaging app. The push notifications tell you that whenever there is a message that arrives in the device. So the notifications are basically in both into the mobile app as well as into the browser that you have. Chats are end-to-end encrypted. You manage your own key. And that is, again, the security part that we actually bring in. It's your encryption key in your server, in your application. Nobody else has access to the encryption key to make sure that your chat or your communication, whether it was meeting or the chat, is fully encrypted using your encryption key and searching and auditing your entire message history. So these are the high-level features or the key features of the chat module that is, I would say, very standard. The differentiator with us is that this is encrypted using your encryption key, and you're not relying on a third party to basically look into or dig into or mine your chat messages. It's all stored in your database, in your server, encrypted using your encryption key. Moving on, the next option, as we saw in the app in the bottom, so you can conduct meetings, schedule, instant, you can chat with your colleagues, and you can also initiate an audio or a video call, as we do again in the apps like WhatsApp. So if I have to just possibly place a call rather than just keep chatting, might be discuss a matter, something that needs to be discussed over the phone or over the call, rather than just keep messaging out. So you can place call to your colleagues. You can place a group call. You can place call just to one person and then add more participant as we do. And again, there is no limit on how many participants that you can add in an audio or a video call. There is absolutely no limit to it. You can also perform chat if you have to send a message during the call as well. And it's seamless across device. So whether you pick up an incoming call on your laptop in a browser, or you pick up a call on your phone or a tablet, it's up to you. So it's a very device agnostic solution that you can actually use and pick up a call or start calling from any device. So that means that you will also be able to log in into the platform from any device or multiple device at the same time. You may be logged in into your phone. You might have logged in into from your iPad, and you can also log in from your laptop. So one user can actually log in from multiple devices and pick up messages or calls from the device of choice that the user basically needs. Again, the calls are also end-to-end encrypted. You can turn in from audio call to video call anytime, or turn back from video call to audio call anytime. So very similar to what you have been experiencing, with other public apps. Let me talk a bit about team channels, and this is, I would say, a very corporate-driven feature, something that we do not do with public messaging apps. So if I can just go back and highlight the options that a user has. We discuss about meetings as the first default menu, then chat, then calls, and now the channels. I'll come onto the context next. So what does the channel do? If some of you who might be experienced with something like Slack, so this is your Slack within CloudMeet itself. What you can do is that you can create channels where you can add people and communicate with them. Now, the question will come, what is the difference between the groups that we create in the chat and the channels? Well, the way channel works is entirely different from how the way group works. In group, You may have 10, 20, 30 people, and everybody can freely either chat or make calls and share information, share file, etc. Channels are a controlled versions of the group chats. Channels are either public, that means that you can have channels where you have one channel for your entire organization, where each of your employee is can discover, can see, and join that channel, and there can be only one host or maybe one moderator or two moderators. And it's, as I said, it's a controlled way of communicating it. That means only the owner of the channel or the moderator in the channel are the ones who will be able to post messages, and others are only supposed to receive it or reply to it or react to it. So it's a controlled way. If you have 1,000 people in joining a group channel, not 1,000 people cannot add the messages or cannot write the messages into the channel. It's only the broadcasters, those who will be able to actually send the messages in the channel. So this is a great way of communicating, either within the team. So you can have private channels which are not visible to everyone. It's an invite only channel. And you can have private channels maybe for a project team to discuss the project and broadcast the updates about deployments or about the next schedules, etc. Or you can also have it for a department. So within a department, you have a private channel maybe for HR. So any messages posted or any updates posted, in the HR group, all HR members can see it. Or the legal group, where you can just discuss the legal matter within the channel itself. So, the public and a private channel can be catered to a large audience or to an audience that is intended to, and only the people who are authorized can actually send messages in the channels, keep everyone updated on what's going on, and others can only react to it. So that is how channels differentiate from the chat groups. It's a controlled way, and it's basically for the intended audience that you can actually interact with. So allows you to collect the feedback on what's going on rather than actually sending messages. You know that if you did post an update, how many people replied to it, how many liked it, unliked it. You can collect feedback on the organization updates, team updates, projects updates, and do some analytics on it. So it's a great way of driving the communication downwards into an organizations and having a controlled way of broadcasting updates, news, or information with your colleagues. Coming on to the context, so that is, I would say, a corporate way of how we basically search and interact with our colleagues. So the differentiator again between the public platforms and CloudMeet is that CloudMeet allows you, because it's deployed in your premise, in your servers, or in your private cloud. CloudMeet allows you to integrate your corporate Active Directory. You can have one, two, or multiple Active Directory as well, or your LDAP for user synchronization. So if you already have a domain in your organization, an AD or an LDAP, you will be able to simply synchronize the username from there into the platform, and your users, your corporate colleagues, will be able to log in into CloudMeet using the same credentials as they have in AD or LDAP. So it gives you the ability to basically do the single sign-on and ensure that single credentials are basically working across your CloudMeet as well, as your colleagues might be using other applications using the same credentials. And users are allowed to search for all the AD or an LDAP users that you have synchronized. You can see the history of the chat with a particular user, can see all the documents that you might have shared with them over time. Nothing gets lost. It's all in your servers and stories. You can also see which groups these your colleagues are member of, invite them to more colleagues, view their contact details, etc. So context directory is a great way of basically creating or accessing all your employee information onto a single place, and view the historical data that we might have exchanged with them. You can also mute notifications if you do not want to receive a notification from a particular user, etc. So all of that is done via the context menu onto the platform. It works the same way either in the browser or in the pad or in the phone, etc. It works the same way. So these are the key modules of CloudMeet, which gives you a complete platform to establish a secure communication within your team, or even with your external guests as well. So whether it's an online meeting, you may have 5 internal colleagues that you can simply add from the AD or LDAP, and you can always invite external guests, just like you invite for Teams or Zoom. You can always invite external guests as well. So it's a mix of audience that you can invite within this platform to actually conduct a meeting, or you can just conduct a chat or a call, or maybe communicate via the channels with your corporate colleagues in a completely secure environment. Online meetings is the only module which allows you to call the external guests for the meeting onto the CloudMeet platform. Others are fully restricted to your internal staff only. That means the chat can only happen within your organization. It's not going out. So there can be additional mechanism for you to actually bring in security. We do get a lot of ideas from the customers on how we can improve the security of this platform even further, whether it was disabling the screenshots of the chat, or whether it's about putting up a watermark onto the chats or maybe on the meetings, etc. So we are happy to accommodate those requests, since CloudMeet is actually a platform by Crash Info Solutions. It's not a third party, an American or Australian platform. It is a very much 100%, Crash Info Solutions platform, and we can improve it based on your feedback, based on customers' feedback, to make it even more secure. And if you're looking for branding, etc., so that is another aspect. So I think, I already keep talking about the security of the platform. It's hosted in your environment. As I said, you run it on your bare metal servers, or we prefer to actually put it onto the containers. I'll come on to that next. So you host it in your environment as you like. It runs on a commodity hardware. It does not require any specific hardware to basically run. It's a very much HP, Lenovo, Dell servers that it can run on. Or you want to put it maybe in something like AWS cloud. Well, yes, we are already working with AWS on providing it as a quick start, and I think that should be there maybe in a month's time. So you will be able to spin it off by yourself in AWS platform and experience it, or host it in your virtual private cloud in AWS as well. So the choice is yours, whether you want to have it on premise by your own server and storage, or put it into something like AWS or Google, etc. Do the LDAP and AD integration, synchronize your users, provide you end-to-end encryption for your chat or meetings, etc., and fully audited and compliant. So you can see the entire history. Nothing goes out of the system. You can audit your system on what were the messages sent, by whom, to whose, what time, etc. So everything is under your control, fully audited. You can see the message history, you can see the call history, you can see the meetings history. Everything is there in your database. So I was talking about the cloud compatibility as well. So host it anywhere as you like, either in your on-premise data center on the servers of your choice, or you put it in a private cloud, if you have something like OpenStack, etc., or put it in Amazon or in Google, or if you want us to explore further even for IBM Cloud or for Alibaba, etc., we are happy to talk to you about. So far, we have tested it on Amazon and Google, and it works well. We are, as I said, going to launch it as a service in Amazon as well in a month's time or so. So completely under your control. There is no concern on who is reading my chat or who is watching my meeting or secretly recording my meeting. There is absolutely no concern, since the complete platform is under your control. And since the platform is under your control, we also allow organizations to brand it for their corporate. So if you want to put it on your organization logo, want to have the colors, etc., of your corporate branding, we are happy to provide that option to you as well. So I guess that brings to the end of my presentation. I guess we had an hour for the presentation, but I ended up a bit early. Didn't want to flood you with a lot of technical jargons or a data, but I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope it was easy enough to understand our offering, our differentiators, and the value that we bring to the table in this remote working environment, to make sure that your communication, your sensitive corporate communication, is always secure under your control. So yeah, with that, I'll wrap up. I'll hand it over back to Shiva. Any questions from the audience? Feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to answer. I do have my colleagues as well on our booth, so please feel free to visit our booth by Crash Info Solutions, and we will be happy to assist you with more information that you need. I'll have my colleagues waiting for you there as well. For now, let's take the Q&A. Mr. Shiva, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eman Prasad. The information that was shared was very informative. Uh, the Stay Connected platform, communicate and collaborate with your team in real time. Communicate and collaborate with your team from anywhere, anytime, and from any device, including iOS, Android devices. Conduct online meetings, share screen and files, chat in real time, or switch to video, audio, and conferencing. CloudMeet provides the ideal platform for your team and business needs. So this was the end of Mr. Heyman's presentation today. Thank you very much, Mr. Heyman. Now there's a question here. Um, Hi, Mr. Heyman. My question is, what type of security features to authorize and access to the team channels? Do the team member or the moderator need to be logged in the CloudMeet platform beyond the online meeting to monitor the channels?
Right. Well, okay. So let me just clarify. Online meeting and channels are two different modules within the same platforms. Online meeting is one off. That means, I want to have a meeting with you. Either I initiate an instant meeting or I schedule it for a later day, and then we initiate the meeting which was scheduled. The meeting ends, you can record it, you can save the recording, and that's the only thing that online meeting basically does. Allows you to speak, allows you to present, allows you to turn on your video, etc. Team channels is a slightly different version of the chat groups, but it's not a chat group. So why it's not a chat group? Then in chat group, everyone can read and write each other's messages. While think of channels as a chat group where only a moderator can invite people if it's a private channel. So if I am head of an HR, I will invite my HR team to be a part of private channel. I'll call it as a HR group, maybe HR group Malaysia, for example. And I'll invite all my HR colleagues into it. Now my HR colleagues have joined. It acts as a chat group. If I can just go back to the screen. So it acts as a chat group, as you can basically see the messages in the thread. The only difference is that I will moderate on who can send a message. If I am the owner of the group, I can send a message in this channel, and others can only either reply or maybe forward, copy. If I'm the moderator, I can also delete the message, and I can react some emojis. I can place I like it. Yeah, this is a good update. So I, as a host, is the only person who can actually send message in this channel, or I can authorize maybe one or two of my colleagues in the team to also send updates in this channel. And the message in the channel will come to you similar to how it comes in your chat. So you get a push notification in your device or in your iPhone, iPad, or Android phone, or tab, or even in your browser. So you get a push notification that there is an update in a channel, and you can go to the channel to read the message or to react to the message. So since you will be using your AD or an LDAP credentials, you can be logged in into your mobile app all the time if you need to, or you can also schedule that I will log in into CloudMeet maybe when my office starts, but I will log out when my office time ends. So the choice is of the user whether they want to continue to be logged in 24 hours a day, like we are logged in, into WhatsApp 24 hours a day, or you can also decide to log off beyond the working hours so it doesn't disturb you. Every day morning, you just log in into your mobile app or into your browser, or maybe in both, and to receive the messages, to reply to the messages in the channels or react to the messages. So it's a controlled way. Only people who are allowed to send the message will be the one who will be allowed to post. Others will only be able to read. So I hope I was able to address the question of Puan Siti Rojaima. If you need more clarity on it, or if you need a demo of how channels basically work, we'll be happy to assist you.
Thank you, Mr. Iman. Hope Pon Siti Rozaima satisfied with the answer. There's another question here. How many people can join the meeting? Is there a limited user can access or not? A question from Noor Hafafa from EPU.
Sure. So right. So the platform we have made the platform in a very very scalable manner, and that is the reason is why we actually run on containers, not on classic virtual machine environment. Containers, we run it on a Docker, or in AWS we run it on serverless computing platform called Fargate. So the Docker containerized environment allows us to auto scale the platform based on the need, based on the demand. So that means you are starting a meeting now, you have only 10 colleagues, there will be only one container running to cater to your meeting. You have 20 more people joining the meeting, the system will automatically spin off more containers and add it to the cluster and take the load of 30, 40, 50, 70, 100 people. As the user load grows, the containers will automatically spin off and start taking the load of more users. As the meeting comes to an end and people start leaving, the containers will automatically go off. So that is the beauty of the containerized platform that we exploited to design this particular platform. So virtually, I would say there is no limit on how many people can actually join, but there will be a practical limit on how much hardware, how much CPU and RAM that you have underneath. In our own experience, you can have a video meeting with everyone having their high definition video on. You can go up to maybe 70 people, with everybody having their video on. And again, it depends on the bandwidth of everyone if they can receive the 70 video feeds onto their machine. But if only maybe host and a couple of moderators have their video on, and the entire other audience is only having their audio, no video, you can as well go to up to 1,000 people. So that's the scale that we can actually have. You can even conduct a meeting with 1,000 people, provided only 2 or 3 video feeds are running.
Okay,
So
Puan Noor Hafafa. There's another question here from Mr. Noor Hardy Sabri, PSUK MOE. He's asking whether it is free. Maybe what he thought is like something like Zoom or Google Meet. Maybe the.
Right. Right. So yeah, well, it's not free. It's developed by Crest. We have to make money. We got to pay salaries to our staff. So it's not free. But yes, if your organization thinks that there is value in having such a platform, we do offer a 30 days trial, and the 30 days trial can either be in our cloud. You can go to demo.cloudmeet.biz. If I can just type it in here for everyone to see. You can go to our website, cloudmeet.biz or demo.cloudmeet.biz, and we can give you an access for 30 days if you want to evaluate it. If you want to evaluate it in your environment, that means you want us to install it in your servers for a period of time, and then evaluate it and integrate it with your AD or LDAP. We will be happy to give you a 30 days trial for that as well. So no obligation. If MOE wants to evaluate it, just provide us the infra, and we will come and install, or we will remotely install in your servers for a 30 days trial, integrate with your AD and LDAP, and you can try it without any limitation. You can try it for 30 days. Then we can discuss whether there is value for MOE to actually subscribe to it.
I believe it's a fair deal. Maybe I just my suggestion or my question maybe: is there any special discount for the government to subscribe your service?
Well, right. So let me answer it this way. Uh, since it is developed in Malaysia by the Malaysian company, the pricing is not US dollar. The pricing is in Malaysian ringgit, number one. Number two, yes, we are very, very flexible into the pricing. We do have a couple of our customers already interested in deploying this platform, and I can tell you that we are very, very cost effective compared to the Western alternatives. So discount is definitely a ask from any customer. So pricing wise, you will be amazed that we have not priced it high. We have priced it very, very, very reasonably. And as I said, it's in Malaysian ringgit, not in US dollar. So if you compare it with the pricing of other popular platforms, we are very, very cost effective, and we also ensure that your security is in your hands, completely controlled by you. So pricing wise, we're very flexible. Feel free to reach out to us, talk to us, and we will make sure that there is value that you get out of this platform without worrying about the monetary part.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eman. So hope government agencies can get a good and better price. Right? The next question is
Definitely.
Mr. Damron from Ministry of Health. He's asking, is there any limit to create team channel?
There is no limit. There is absolutely no limit on how many users you can synchronize. If in your AD or in your LDAP, if you have 10,000, 20,000 users, you can synchronize them all. You can create any number of channels. If it's coming from Ministry of Health, if I can actually take an example of, let us say you want to create multiple channels for different working groups. I'm sure MOH is possibly having a tough task to handle the pandemic for last more than a year now, and I can understand the stress that they would have been going through, and a lot of teams would have been formed within the ministry. There is absolutely no limit on how many channels that you can create. or how many users can join a channel. There is absolutely no limit. You can create as many number of channels as you want. You can assign as many number of users you to these channels. You can pick and choose which user you want to make member of which channel, and one user can definitely be member of multiple channels. There is absolutely no limit.
Okay, Mr. Dameron, hope your question is answered. Another question, again from Siti Ruzaima. Do we need to be in the office network or VPN to access the CloudMeet if it is hosted in the office cloud?
Well, that is up to your infra team. So if your infra team publishes it on a public URL, like as I mentioned, our CloudMeet is running on demo.cloudmeet.base. So if your CloudMeet is opened on a public IP or on a public domain, then you don't have to be in office. You can be anywhere. You are always connected. But if your organization decides to put it behind the firewall, do not want to open it outside, then yes, you will be needing a VPN connection to basically connect to it. My recommended approach would be to not put it behind the firewall, because we have taken care of the security. Absolutely, you can open up your web layer, and you only need your web layer in the DMG. All other database, everything can be behind the firewall for the security purpose. Only the web layer. So we do run, a three-tier architecture where the web can be put in a DMG, and your app and data can actually be put behind the firewall. So we do support that three-tier architectural deployment. So put web into a DMZ, put your app and DB behind the firewall, and you can actually allow staff to keep connected, attend meetings, attend calls, get messages on the channels, get updates on the channels, even while they are visiting outside of the office.
Okay, thank you very much. Hope your question again answered. Okay, Mr. Eman, I think you got a booking already, no? Mr. Noor Harji Sapri already asked you to book, so he wants to try demo for 30 days. Okay,
Sure,
another
we'll be
question.
happy to. We'll be happy.
Yeah, yeah. Another question from Siti Ruzaima. It's an IT officer from Army, Maklab Tantara di Raja, right? So she's asking, can this be installed in a physical server too? What is the minimum server spec or network bandwidth required?
Right. So yes, you can install it in a physical server. We will run Docker containers for you. So we will come and do all the setups that is needed related to the containers, and we will train you on how to manage it. So that is a part of implementation package. Well, there is, if I can tell you, maybe there is a very minimum requirement depending upon how many users that you have. I mean, we can run it on as small as maybe 8-core CPU, or maybe just about 16 GB sort of RAM onto a server. And as far as network bandwidth comes, it depends. It depends on how many meetings you are having. If you're only having chat and channels, etc., then the bandwidth requirement is very, very minimal. You can as well run it on a 3G sort of bandwidth. But if you're having online meetings, and specifically with the video, then you will need the bandwidth depending upon how many online meetings and videos are basically on. But again, we run on a WebRTC protocol. So even with the minimum possible bandwidth, you can actually conduct your meetings. If at all your bandwidth is not supporting the videos, the system actually has an adaptability feature. That means it will lower down the quality of your video to not choke your bandwidth. Or you can also configure to turn off your video if your bandwidth does not support, and you can still continue with the audio call. So the best part is that the audio call takes very, very minimal bandwidth requirement, even in the KBs, not even in the MBs. So you can have audio meetings even with the 3G sort of speed. You don't even need a 4G speed to basically run it. Now, as I said, 8 core and 16 GB is what is the minimum. In that, you can run your chats and channels, etc. But considering putting it maybe slightly on the higher side, depending upon how many users you may have, accordingly, you can scale your servers. You may start with one server and you may actually plug more servers. Maybe you get one server this year and give access to a set of users. Not everybody, maybe 100, 200 users this year. And then you can always add a new physical server to the cluster next year. And the system is actually designed in a way where you can just keep adding more resources and simply add it to the cluster to keep scaling it. It's not that you have to put 2, 3, 4 servers this year itself. No, you can actually start with a pilot with just one server and then add more resources, more servers, more storage as the usage basically grows. Yeah.
Okay, so we hope that answered Puan Siti Uzaima's question. There's another question from Puan Maizatul Tanti, Assistant Director from Matriculation College, Pahang. There is a few questions. I think some of the answered just now. Duration link meeting or training can be accessed. Number one. Number two, minimum requirement specification on the PC or laptop. And number three, free. If not free, I think this question already been answered. And number four, is there any limitations? And where data is stored, can store at PDSA, is the government public data storage. And number six, security, online chat, video, and etc.
Right. So yeah, I missed the first question. The line was
Duration.
not good. But let me answer the remaining.
Okay, the first question is actually she asking about duration, link meeting, or training can access.
Well, yes. So I'm not sure what exactly is the question, to be honest. But let me try to address it. Well, there is no limit on the duration on how long you can have a meeting. I know some of the platform, disconnect your meetings maybe after 45 minutes or after 4 hours like that. But here, since the
Yeah,
platform
maybe.
is owned by you, there is no limit. There is no limit on how long you can have a meeting. As far as training is concerned, maybe I can take a use case that you may want to have a meeting. You may want to have a scheduled meeting, which is for a training purpose, for example. So you start a meeting in the morning with a meeting ID and password, maybe at 9 a.m. Then you do a 3 hours training session. Everybody goes for lunch, maybe 12 to 1. At 1:30, they assemble back. They restart the same meeting with the same user, same meeting ID and password. Continue it for till maybe 5 p.m. etc. And then maybe next day they want to utilize the same meeting ID and password. Restart it, stop it. Yes, that's all possible. That's all doable. You can have one static meeting ID, fixed meeting ID, which you actually give it to your training participant, and they join the same meeting ID and password every day. You can update the password if you want, I mean, just for the security purpose, or the system will randomly generate a password for you. So up to you. Coming to the browsers, well, again, the minimum I would say is like anything that you may have, maybe a 4 GB RAM, maybe a Windows 7 or a Windows 10 with a Mozilla Firefox or Chrome or Safari or Edge browser. So we don't have any specifications for the laptop or for the desktop, so long you have either of these four browsers, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge. So long you have either of these four browsers, it will work. As simple as that. Or if you have an Android phone or a tablet or an iOS iPhone or iPad, it will work on that as well. So there is no minimum recommendation. So long you have a browser, you have an internet connection, it's going to work. Now, to answer the other questions on where is the data stored, because it is hosted in your environment, in your servers, the data belongs to you. The data is in your database, in your storage. In case you want us to provide it as a managed service, we will host it in a cloud. You can tell us whether you want us to host it in AWS, you want it to host it in Google Cloud, and there it will be in a private storage. That means the storage is not shared by anybody else. It's a private storage. You can access your data anytime, even though it is in AWS or Google or any other platform. It's in a virtual private cloud, VPC. So you can choose which option would you want to basically go. Did I miss any part, Siva?
Security, online chat and video,
Well,
and
it's
etc.
end-to-end encrypted. Right. So end-to-end encrypted. We use the encryption key, or you can bring in your own encryption key. It is fully encrypted end-to-end. And as I said, it is running in your servers using your encryption key. Nobody knows your encryption key. Nobody has access to your encryption key. It is in your server, so it's fully secure. Nobody is sharing your encryption key. So on a security wise, be rest assured. And security is the main reason is why we came up with this platform. We knew that organizations do have concerns on sharing platform which they have no idea where it is hosted and who is behind it. So that is the idea of why CloudMeet actually came into existence.
Okay, Puan Maizatul. So harap Puan Maizatul understand, faham. So untuk dapat, I think for further detail, Puan Maizatul boleh arrange for 30-day trial. Mungkin boleh dapat lebih faham tentang CloudBeat ni. Okay, we hope Puan Maizatul satisfied with the answer. We are almost at the end, Mr. Heman. So we
Sure.
finished early, but
Yeah.
we already occupied the 1 hour allocated to you.
Sure. Let me share with the
So we
audience.
hope,
Yeah, let me share with the audience that we are not new to the government. Crash Info Solutions has been working with Mampu for last about 5 years. I think quite a few members in the audience will be aware about DDMS, Digital Document Management System. Digital Document Management System 2.0, the latest version that is running, currently being used by more than 200 agencies. It is actually done by Crash Info Solutions. So we are not new to the government. Government knows us. We know we've been working with Mampu for more than 5 years now. So I mean, happy to assist you, as well into the new initiative that we basically have. You can definitely take our feedback from Mampu as well. And if you are a user of DDMS, we are hope that you're having a good experience with the DDMS. And if not, definitely share feedback, and we will work with Mampu to see how we can improve your experience. So I mean, yeah, that's the experience that we've been having. We are not a new company in Malaysia. We have been in business for about 9 years now, and working with the government of Malaysia for more than 5 years now.
okay, that sounds great. So I think all will be easy to communicate with Mr. Heman on behalf of Crash Info Solutions. So thank you very
Yeah.
much for the session, technology update. Cloud made a self-hosted and secure enterprise communication solution. Thank you again, Mr. Heman. Hope to see you again.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Pleasure to have you today.
Okay.
Mungkin ada technical error sikit MC kita pagi ni. Okey, selamat datang tuan-puan ke sesi kelima teknologi update yang bertajuk Modern Data Protection Impact Needs and COVID-19 Impact. Oleh
Boleh
banyak ya.
Boleh dengar ke?
Ya, boleh.
Boleh dengar. So can we start the session?
We can start station, yes.
So very good morning to everybody, and good morning to Encik Muhammad Izlan Farid and Encik Muhammad Mustaqim, representative from WIM Software Malaysia, and collaborating with AeroSense in providing technology update session 5, modern data protection impact needs and COVID-19 impact. Data protection is very important in ensuring security of the individual's personal data and regulate the collection, usage, transfer, and disclosure of the said data. So, data protection is very important for every one of us. So now let's invite Encik Muhammad Izlan Farid and Encik Muhammad Mustaqim to give us more detailed information on modern data protection impact needs and COVID-19 impact. Proceed, please. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Siva, for giving us the opportunity, and also the team from GPM to give us the PERJASA for giving us opportunity to talk about the backup protection. So myself is actually Mustaqim from AeroSense. I think the company we've been having experience in helping a lot of government agencies in doing backup, virtualization and others, as well as the DR protection as well. So I think with me is actually Encik Izlan Farid from WIM himself. So we would actually go into the area where how can we actually do backup in this area where pandemic is happening. So this is the subject that we want to focus on today. So I'll pass to Encik Izlan Farid. So by any means you can actually type if there's any question from here. Thank you.
Right, terima kasih Cik Khairul and Siva. Okay, Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi semua. So hari ini saya akan membicarakan tentang modern data protection needs dan apakah impact untuk COVID-19. So saya akan sharekan slide saya. So masing-masing nampak ya? Okay, so COVID-19 memberikan impact yang besar terhadap usaha strategi IT dengan lebih dari 50% organisasi mempercepatkan inisiatif digital transformasi mereka. Namun ini memberikan tekanan yang besar kepada legacy IT dan mewujudkan kadar kegagalan backup yang lebih tinggi. Dengan lebih dari 95%, semua organisasi akan menjangkakan perubahan penyampaian IT yang ketara pada tahun 2021. Dengan peralihan ini, dia akan dipertimbangkan ketika kita cuba memodernkan sumber seperti perlindungan data dan pengurusan. So, bagaimanakah kita untuk hendak merancang untuk keperluan segera ini disebabkan oleh pandemik COVID-19? So, dalam sesi ini saya akan mengkaji